The early 2000s was a mint period for launching horror franchises. One of the signature horrors of the time was Final Destination. First released 25 years ago, God, I'm old. The film established an absolutely goofy premise that death is petty and vengeful against those who disrupt its grand design. Death also has a really comical and ironic sense of humor, setting up elaborate ways for folks to bite the bullet. Each film had at least one centerpiece kill that was absolutely nutty and unforgettable. I mean, there's an entire generation of folks who are forever scarred by the logging truck scene in Final Destination 2, and you can count me among them. 14 years after Final Destination 5 ended the franchise, it's reborn and back in top form with Final Destination Bloodlines. The trick of these movies is that they are both funny and grotesque enough to make you cringe. There's a fine balance that the filmmakers of each chapter have learned to walk, as precise as death's many manipulations. It's also obvious that audiences are fully aware of the formula, and that is a huge part of the fun. The hard part is finding new ways to shock us, and Final Destination Bloodlines, it has enough twists to keep us on our toes. The story begins in 1968, when Iris, played by Breck Basinger, and her fiancé Paul, played by Max Lloyd Jones, are on a date at the top of a Sky Tower restaurant's grand opening. What begins as an awkward but beautiful evening and a marriage proposal ends in chaos. I mean, we all know from the moment we saw that Space Needle-esque structure that it wouldn't be standing for long and that someone would get impaled, fried to a crisp, smushed by a falling elevator, all the things. Of course, it happens. But it's all a premonition seen by Iris as she puts a stop to it, and Death is pissed. That's a lot of dead folks she let off the hook. So, many decades later, Death is coming for everyone in Iris's bloodline because, they never should have been born in the first place. Stephanie, played by Caitlin Santawana, Iris's granddaughter, is having nightmares of that deadly night even though she hadn't even been born. She has to figure out what's going on, and is it possible Iris is still alive to help her untangle Death's evil plan? And is it even really evil? These people were supposed to die, and death is a natural part of life. It could be argued that what Iris and many characters before her in the previous movies did is what's really evil. Final Destination doesn't aim to be very deep, but it does allow you to think about such profound questions. It makes you consider your own mortality and what to do with the time you have on this earth, because it could be gone in an instant. Now, chances are you won't meet your fate at the business end of an exploding vending machine, or a magnetized MRI, or a ceiling fan, but hey, one never really knows, right? The cast of these movies don't really matter much, as long as they aren't outrageously bad. And in the case of Final Destination Bloodlines, the ensemble of young actors is pretty decent. Stephanie turns to her large, somewhat messy family, including her kid brother Charlie, played by Teo Briones, cousins Julia, played by Anna Lore, Bobby, played by Owen Patrick Joyner, and Eric, played by Richard Harmon. There's also her uncle Howard, played by Alex Zahara, and Aunt Brenda, played by April Tellick. There's also Stephanie and Charlie's estranged mother, Darlene, played by Raya Kihlstedt, who ran off when they were younger and is considered the family black sheep, and she's got problems. Since most characters don't survive to see multiple sequels, the main recurring character is Moros mortician William Bloodworth, played by the late, great Tony Todd. His appearance here, his last before his death, brings his story to a bittersweet but fitting end. Fans of the Candyman actor, and there are many, will see this as a nice sign-off to his wonderful career. But it's not just an isolated, feel-good cameo. We learn things about Bloodworth that make all the sense in the world and also move the story forward. I also like that the writers still find ways to pay homage to the many, and I mean many, dead characters who faced death's wrath before, like a throwaway reference to my all-time favorite character, Allie Larder's Clear Rivers. She was also mentioned, kind of as a gag, in The Final Destination as well. Directors Adam Stein and Zach Lepowski of Freaks and the Kim Possible movie, if you can believe it, know what make Final Destination tick. Each scene is an elaborate jumble of red herrings, a glass shard here, an errant rake there, an open gas line, a water leak, all things that individually are kinda harmless, but put together create the perfect scenario for mass death. But things rarely play out the way we expect, and when death comes, it's usually quick and out of nowhere. That's all part of the fun. When you learn that one character works in a tattoo parlor, your mind swims with all the horrible ways that he'll meet his demise. Final Destination Bloodlines suffers from the same problems many of the previous films do, which is that the characters are so disposable that it's tough to have much investment. There are only a couple ways these movies can end, and so far they all pretty much do in the same way, which makes the final scene a foregone conclusion. That said, fans of the franchise already know all of that and are signed up for it, and Final Destination Bloodlines plays the fatalistic hits very well. Final Destination Bloodlines is in theaters now, and it gets a 3.5 out of 5. Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.